The president lowered his voice and said, "What you're suggesting is illegal." "Yes, indeed, Mr. President," replied the general. "But you have to ask yourself how best to protect the lives of your citizens. The situation is simple. Tatum is determined both to mount a campaign of ethnic cleansing in his own country and to launch military attacks on us. Our intelligence tells us that he is almost alone in this view, and that if we were to take him out, he would be replaced by the far more moderate Nestor." "Yes, but you talk about us taking him out. Assassination of a foreign leader is contrary to international law." The general sighed. "But Mr. President, you must see how simple your choice is. One bullet, followed by a few more security services cleanup afterwards, will be enough to avert widespread massacre and probable war. I know you don't want the blood of a foreign leader on your hands, but would you prefer to be drowning in the blood of thousands of his and your own people?" Morality is a higher authority than the law. That's why we approve of civil disobedience when the state's laws are manifestly unjust and there are no legal ways to oppose them. We might disagree as to what particular actions were justified in the African National Congress's struggle against apartheid, but the idea that South Africa provided ample opportunities for legal protest by the country's blacks is ludicrous. It is not difficult to imagine situations where law-breaking is the right thing to do. It's more important to save life than honour speed limits. You should not give up the pursuit of a dangerous criminal in order to avoid trespassing. It's better to steal than to starve to death. If we accept that, then the mere fact that what our president is being asked to do is contrary to international law does not settle the question of whether he should go ahead. The question is rather, are the circumstances so serious that there is no way to avoid a terrible outcome without resorting to illegal acts? If the calculations presented by the general are correct, then it would seem that the assassination would be justified. As the well-worn example runs, if you knew what Hitler would go on to do, would you have killed him in his youth? If not, why do you value his life over those of the 6 million killed in the Holocaust and countless others in his wars? However, as the overthrow of Saddam Hussein showed, the problem is that intelligence is far from infallible. The fact is that, although in hindsight we might wish we'd acted earlier, we can never know for sure what the future will bring. Assassination might prevent ethnic cleansing and war. On the other hand, it might provoke greater unrest, or simply leave someone else to command the killing. The law of unintended consequences needs to be respected. But the president cannot afford the luxury of shrugging his shoulders and saying, "Que sera, sera." The politician's job is to make decisions based on the best possible estimation of the present and future circumstances. The fact that estimates can be wrong is no excuse for inaction. Discussions are never made on the basis of absolute certainty, but probability. So the dilemma remains. If Tatum is not assassinated, and he goes on to do what is predicted, it would be a weak defense for the president to say, "Yeah, I knew that was probable, but I couldn't be sure, so I sat on my hands." At the same time, he cannot flout international laws regularly on the basis of potentially unreliable information. How then does he reach his decision on this particular case? With great difficulty, for sure.